Burnout is a real thing. So I want to give you the 5 things to do to help you with burnout. So here's what causes it. Here's what to do to avoid it. So the opposite of that is like, you've got to lead your day, right? At least 50, 60% of your day needs to be self-led. Here's what I said I was going to do, and I'm doing it. And some of it's going to be reactionary. We can't get away from it. But man, if you are out of control, lacking control, and in reactionary mode, you're headed towards burnout. What's your take on that one? All right, dude, let's talk about burnout. Burnout is a real, not real thing. And here's what I mean. Burnout is a real thing. So I want to give you the 5 things to do to help you with burnout. So here's what causes it. Here's what to do to avoid it. And it's not what people think. It is not working too many hours. And I want to get that right away. It's not working too many hours. There's been times when you're working more hours and felt better, and other times when you're working less hours and still feel burned out. So let's go through like the 5 things that cause it and what to do about them. Sound good?
Yeah, dude. Let's go.
Okay, here's the first one. First one is lack of control. So lack of control would be this. If more than 60% of your day is reactionary, you're probably going to start feeling burned out, right? In other words, when here's the example. You show up to your computer at morning and you go, cool, what am I doing today? Right. And your email, more or less, your phone tells you what you're going to do, right? You're just reacting. You're eventually going to feel burned out. So the opposite of that is like, you've got to lead your day, right? At least 50, 60% of your day needs to be self-led. Here's what I said I was going to do, and I'm doing it. And some of it's going to be reactionary. We can't get away from it. But man, if you're out of control, lacking control, and in reactionary mode, you're headed towards burnout. What's your take on that one?
Yeah, no, I think it's a death by 1,000 cuts, right? I call it being pecked to death, where I just get pecked a little bit each day. So you don't think it's a big deal. Then you go home and you're like, dude, I've got, 10,000 things I didn't do.
Yes.
1,000 questions I was asked that didn't get me anywhere. Like, it's the worst.
Yeah, it's brutal. And I think it starts with how you start your day.
Yes.
And Jim Rohn said that, I don't know if it was Jim Rohn, somebody said it. Finish your day on paper before you start it. Finish your week on paper before you start it. I thought that was such great advice. Get out of reactionary mode, right? What are my goals? What do I need to do? Put them in your schedule, which leads to number 2. Number 2 is alignment. If your day is out of alignment, you're going to start feeling burned out. And here's the best example of this. Imagine if you have, 6 dominoes to knock over, and you push one here, then you go over and push one here, then you go and push one. Like, if all the dominoes are randomly placed and that domino is not leading to another domino, that's going to feel exhausting. What you want to do is you want to have your dominoes in succession. I hit this domino, it hits the next one, that one hits one, that one, like that succession feels amazing. So is my day in alignment, right? Do the things line up, and is it in alignment with my goals, my values, right? The outcomes I want to have, or is it just kind of another day?
So explain so dominoes meaning like, I want to get more like prospecting, or I want to do recruiting, or like, is that what you're talking about? Like, give me some ideas.
Yeah. So I think it can be in several different realms. The first would be, does this activity lead to where I want to go? So with you, does making my 5 calls a day lead to the 2 appointments? Do the 2 appointments lead to this? Am I doing things in succession that lead to another?
Yeah.
Another one would be like having 7 different ways to go lead generate versus like one that I nail and go forward on. Or like, I tried for sale by owner for a second and I tried door knocking for 6 minutes. Or like, am I going to be phenomenal at expired listings? And I'm going to get good at finding the list. I'm going to get good at making the call. I'm going to get good at the follow-up, the appointment. Like, I'm going to get great at that. And that's going to lead to succession. And then alignment also is like your values. Like, my values are fun, right? Impact and connection, right? If it's fun, if it's making impact and I'm connecting, hell yeah. If it's not those 3 things, or at least some of those 3, I probably don't want to do it forever.
Oh, go ahead. Go. You got it.
No, go. No, you. You're taller.
You're So no, I was going to say, it reminds me, like, this whole conversation reminds me of growing up in restaurants, and it sucks, right? There's so much work you have to do to get prepped for the day, for the service. And it's funny how as real estate agents, we call ourselves entrepreneurs, but we don't do anything entrepreneurially. We are literally firefighters, for lack of a better term. But think back to restaurants where you got to get there early. You got to chop the tomatoes. And actually before that, you got to the week before, order the shit. Like, you got to think ahead. What's my next week look like? What's my count going to be? What's our turn times? Who's working? What's happening? Like, that's the entrepreneur stuff. Like, we're most agents are glorified agents. Like, that's it. Like, you should be being told what to do because you can't think for yourself.
Yes.
And I think they've got to figure out a way. And I'm curious to keep hearing how you're going to help them go from just being an agent and people getting too big for their britches, thinking that they're the chef. And really, you're down there prepping tomatoes and you're looking dumb.
Yes. And here's where it starts. And you and I say this all the time. People go, what's the one thing people do to be successful? What's the one thing I got to do to be successful? Intentionality is the price you pay for the next level of your success. Yeah. Intentionality is I ordered the onions, right, 2 weeks ago, and now they're here. Intentionality is I laid out my goals and I decided what I need to do every day. And I put them in my calendar. Now I'm doing right. Intentionality is the price you need to pay for the next level of success, which easily leads to number 4, right? Or sorry, number 3. Number 3 is too much on your damn plate. People go, I have too much on my plate. I'm like, maybe, like you might put some dumb shit on your plate, right? Like, what are some things you put it on there, right? Maybe you need to take it off. What are some things that, because most of our clients, they're pissed off because they have 80 hours of stuff to do in the 40 or 60 hours they have to work. So you got to really evaluate what is on the plate.
Yeah, I think people do this because it's imposter syndrome. They see somebody doing something, right? Let's call it social media. Yes. They're like, they are crushing it. I got to start doing social media. Okay, and then I got to go do this. And all of a sudden, they're trying to do 10, like you've already said it on this conversation. Like, they're trying to do 10 different things that they suck at or they're doing very poorly.
Yes.
And instead of like taking the time to like look inside and go, this is my highest and best use of my time because this is where I make money. And guess what? Your name may not be in lights. You may not have 10,000 social media followers, but you can still cash those fucking checks. So I think people got to kind of focus laser.
And that goes back to the dominoes and everything else. Probably the best example of that you and I talked about this actually at our strategy lab, E5 a couple weeks ago or months ago. People hear that, hey, millionaires have 7 streams of income, right? Or multimillionaires have 7 streams of income. What they don't know, or what wasn't said often, is those people did one. They did one successful thing that brought them in a crap ton of money. And then they used that money and their time and everything else to do 2. Then they were able to do maybe a couple at a time. But they did one at an epically high level before they did anything else. And I think people miss that. They're going after all 4. Going after all 5, 6, 10, whatever it is.
What is that? Elon with PayPal, right? I mean, I know that's an extreme example, but that's where he started it. That's where he did it. Then he sold it. And then now he's doing 5 pretty damn well, or maybe more than 5. I don't know. He's putting chips in people's brains. I might go get one.
Yeah, I'd love one. I'd love one. All right. Number 4 is insufficient rewards. Actually, let me say one more thing on number 3, because this is a great time to go back to your schedule and go, yellow, red, green. Red is like, what do I never want to do again? That was the dumbest appointment I've ever been on. Don't do that anymore, right? Where it's like, red's like, don't do it anymore. Yellow is maybe I need to limit this or adjust it, right? Maybe instead of doing this every week, I need to do this once a month, whatever it is. And then green is like, cool, good to go. But do an audit. That goes back to that intentionality. So do an audit of like, where's it going? What do I need to get rid of? Same thing with your money. But number 4 is insufficient reward. I think one of the biggest differences between our generation and our parents' generation, and for some of us, is we saw our parents work their tail off and then at 85 go, cool, we're going to see the Grand Canyon. Right? What we realize is we can actually enjoy some of the reward along the way. Like, you can go too far with that, but you've got to be able to enjoy the game. You got to be able to give yourself some healthy, right? You need small rewards, medium rewards, big rewards. Small. When I used to have a closing, I'd go buy myself a Starbucks. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal, but it was something, and it was great. Then I'd have medium rewards, big rewards. You got to give yourself some rewards along the way, or you're just going to be beat up.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I'm not very good with that one myself. So
yeah. Hey, really quick, you know how YouTube works. Like and subscribe so we know this is working and it keeps pushing the content out.
Yeah, this is what we do as a passion project. Wayne got his own coaching, I got my real estate, but we've come together because we want y'all to learn from all our scars and mistakes. So that like and subscribe means the world to us because it means you care and it means we can keep giving, and also it makes us look cool with my mom.
Absolutely.
So for some fun math, because I love math when it comes to prospecting and everything else. So you said 40 conversations a day, 5 days a week, 45 weeks a year. It's 9,000 conversations, 9,000. So I take the 9,000 and say you have a 3% capture rate, which is incredibly low. It's 270, let's say 270 potential conversations, potential listings, buyers. And let's just say I'm a quarter right. That's 67 transactions. So the question then becomes, Wayne, where do I find 40 people a day to call? And I think that's where people need to do the back math. And I think you're brilliant at this. And I've sat through so many of your coaches' trainings and been coached by you and all that. But like, you got to start with the goal, because you said 300,000, but you need somebody like you to bring you to, what do I have to do today?
All the way back. Yeah.
And to answer,
and the cool thing is like, hey, here's how many calls I need to make this year. And then you break that out. Like you said, how are we going to get it? Okay, well, I'm going to get 500 people in my database. I'm going to call them 4 times a year. All right, cool. So I've got, a couple thousand right there. All right, then maybe I'm going to call farm neighborhoods, right? And hey, here's the neighborhoods that each have 2,000 or 3,000 homes in them. I'm going to call through those. I'm going to get a list from, there's a ton of places to go get
Red
a list.
X, Cole Realty Resource, you can do all that.
Absolutely. Right. I'm going to talk to my vendors multiple times. I'm going to, right. Like there's ways. I think the thing is there are a lot of ways to do it, but like you just said, right, it starts with the commitment. Hey, I've got to have X amount of conversations, which means I got to have 20 or 40 conversations a day, which means it's going to take 2 or 3 hours of lead generation. Like it starts with the commitment, and then you'll figure it out. Some of y'all are going to go to the gas station and talk to 10 people that are filling their car up with gas every morning. You go, I got 10 contacts out of the way before I even got to the office. Right? Like you said, right? You talk to enough people, a handful of people are going to say yes, even if you're terrible. Now, that may not be the prettiest way to do it, but if you don't have money to buy you a ton of time, then you're going to have to use time to make money.
Well, here's the little dirty secret nobody's telling anybody when it comes to lead gen. They're like, I don't want to call 2 to 3 hours a day. But here's the funny part. When you get the business, you're still calling 2 to 3 hours a day, because now you're following with past clients. You're still prospecting. Right. It's just from a different pool. Like you're going to be doing more desk work the more deals you do. So if you don't like desk work now, then you're not going to like desk work when you're successful.
Correct.
So I think that I would be spending, and let's say it's November, I would be spending the next month and a half trying to figure out through either purchasing, vetting, title companies, getting lists of people if you don't have them.
Absolutely.
It kind of reminds me when I'm in a growth phase. So I am trying to introduce myself to a bunch of agents. But when I sit down and look at my calendar and I've got an hour to make my calls, to try and make connections for appointments, I already have my list. It's already in there.
Yeah.
But it took me hours to put it together in their social media and look at make sure I even want to talk to them. Like it's okay to have the homework.
Right.
But do the work when you do the work.
Don't do the homework during game time. Like do the practice and the stretching before the game, right? The game is every morning between 8 and 10. That's the game, right? But you can't prepare for the game when you're supposed to be playing for the game, right? Prepare in the afternoon, prepare in the evening, prepare other times, and then when it's game time, you go play the game. And there's other ways to do it. It doesn't all have to be phone calls, right? Maybe it's you message everybody that's ever followed you or liked something on your Instagram, and you go, hey, it looks like we live in the same part of town. What's your favorite restaurant? Cool. Hey, by the way, what do you do? I'm in real estate. Do you have any questions? Like, but I think that what we're getting is it's got to be relational. It can't just be this one-way street of like, I sent an email to 6,000 people. I didn't get any business. The market sucks. Emails don't count. They just don't, right? Emails don't count. Right? You gotta have the conversations right now, and you gotta audit your account. And there's things you may not be able to do right now, right? Hey, you do lunch with your buddies every Friday. That's not on the calendar anymore until you get your stuff up, right? You like to take 3 hours to the gym. You better figure out how to do it in 35 minutes, right? Like you may need to tighten some things up and change your schedule around a little bit to get the actual amount of lead generation in that you got to get in.
And I think that's the last thing I'll bring up about the distractions is we're not being efficient, and we're playing with half a deck of cards. So even like right now, like we do a lot of content. I've got 3 lights strung up already. It costs me money, but they're here. I literally push my desk up. I turn a button, all the lights come on. If I had to set up these lights and these mic every single time, it'd take me 20 or 30 minutes per time. And I'm wasting hours a week, right? So people aren't playing with the full deck of cards. And what I mean by that is your database isn't fully filled out. Do you have one? Maybe. Do you have one that's filled out fully? Hell no. So take the time to set yourself up for success. Do your stuff at a certain time. Do your stuff. Start at 8 o'clock. Don't walk in at 8 o'clock. Stand up, have a headphone on, like use your hands, give yourself every possible winning scenario. So you can, when you do put that effort out, it is compounded exponentially. And we're just not doing that. Nobody's doing that well.
Yeah. I think it's a beautiful way to look at it. Like, am I being the ninja? Am I being the best at this? You know what I mean? Am I walking in prepared? Am I walking in ready to go? Like, and I think a good way to think about it is like, what's the barrier to entry, right? So for us to get on and record a podcast now, the barrier to entry is very low because we have our stuff set up, right? Kelsey's doing his part, right? But we've got our stuff in front of us. Like, it's like 3 minutes and we're ready to go. Same thing with lead generation, right? If I want to do lead generation, it's like, boom, I open up my list. Boom, I'm in lead generation in 3 minutes. But if your barrier to entry is really high, it's going to slow you down. If the barrier to entry is like, who do I call? What do I say? Right. But like if you have all these barriers to entry, it's very, very hard to get over that wall. You know what I mean? One of the reasons why I go to F45 every morning is because I walk in and we start. I don't have to think about it. Right. We just walk in. It's 45 minutes of hard hit training and then I get to leave. The barrier to entry is very, very low. Instead of me going to the gym and be like, what should I do today? And getting the same, it would take me an hour and a half, 2 hours to get the same result I get in 45 minutes because I don't have to think, I don't have to plan. And guess what? There ain't no rest time, right? Like, and I'd love that for me. So same thing in real estate, right? Same thing with your seller calls. Are your seller calls the same thing? Do you have a rhythm and a pattern to them, right? When your buyers, do you have a rhythm and a pattern to when you follow up them and that cadence, right? Do you have a weekly review time? Your meetings, like get in systematic and rhythm on those things. So lower your barrier to entry. Same thing with lunch, right? Is your barrier to entry like, what should I have for lunch today? And are you doing that every day for 25 minutes? Or is it, cool, I have 7 lunches in my fridge. Boom, I'm having lunch too. You know what I mean? Like lower the barrier to entry. Make it easy on you.
Yeah.
You're going to get Everett People Rewards, right? Like you're doing the top producer trip, right? Like you're going to help Everett people do it. But yeah, we aren't great at doing it ourselves.
Yeah, no, that's a good one because, I mean, actually mine would be a very nice watch. I'm not a huge watch guy, but I want one as an heirloom to pass down to kids at some point.
Love it.
So I need to actually go do that and say, here's what I want to do by when, and this is what my reward gets to be.
So what's it going to be the reward for? Give me something. What could it be?
Yeah. So I want to grow
a size, net worth of rental houses. What is it?
Yeah. So my most immediate goal is going to be about 50 agents in production. So trying to get that number up to a sustainable level. So once I get there, that are actually producers.
So 50 agents.
Yeah.
Rolex.
Sure. Sounds good.
Or whatever it is to pass down to the kids. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. That's great.
What's yours? What's your
you know
reward
what, Brad?
system?
I was trying to be the coach. I don't know if I was ready for it to be turned around. I was ready to ask you the question. Yeah, no. I told my what was one of my I had a I need to go back and look at it. I was gonna buy myself 3 new suits, but I can't remember what the number was. So I'm gonna have to go back. I wrote it down somewhere. Obviously I haven't reflected on it because I need to go figure out what it was. But the reward was to buy some new suits. So I need to go check out the goal again and see what that number was. Yeah. But I do think it's good. I think it's good to have small, medium, and big.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. All right. Number 5. Number 5 is over here somewhere. Thinking we're being treated unfairly. Here's the easiest way that shows up for me. I have to make calls. I shouldn't have to redo this thing. I shouldn't like we do things to kind of make ourselves feel like we're almost being treated unfairly. And then we actually start feeling like we're being treated unfairly. And it's usually our language that gets us in trouble. Like, I shouldn't have to go make more calls. I shouldn't have to put this house back on the market. That deal should have worked out. I shouldn't have to learn the new MLS. I shouldn't have to go on this appointment. Whatever. We kind of put ourselves like in a victim seat, and it messes with us.
Yeah. That's a therapy issue. I mean, nobody wants to hear that, and I'm not trying to be a jerk about it, but like you've got to go find a place to work through that. Because if not, if you have the victim mentality or you have the like being pulled through the mud, you'll never get past the next stage. Yeah. Like you just won't. Yeah. It's just you're stuck. Yeah. And because that means you're letting the entire world dictate to how your day's going to go and how you're going to be successful. And if you're waiting on the world to let you be successful, but it ain't happening. The world's going to try and keep you from being successful. But if you look at it the opposite way of what I do today pushes me towards my goal, what I do today is going to be the best thing I'm going to do. Like that is when you own it. And when you own something, man, especially your own life, dude, it's beautiful. But I need to stress. I don't give a shit if it's betterhelp.com. Like go talk through that crap. Victim mentality does not make winners.
Well, and what I find too is like we don't often hear ourselves. So other people can pick up on our language way faster than we pick up on our own. Mm-hmm. So when we're saying, I shouldn't have to this, I can't believe I have to blank. Like when you start using those words, it's an indication that your brain is kind of getting into victim mode. And sometimes if you hear that in other people, it might be good to just call it out and go like, hey, I see a lot of resentment and resistance
Yeah.
showing up. What's going on, right? And resentment and resistance is one of the best ways to kick yourself in the teeth.
Well, I think, to add to that real quick is if you're in that victim mentality or you feel like you do, maybe you don't know, go ask somebody that you actually trust and say,
Yeah.
hey, dude, do I look like this? And then look around you. Are the agents in your office the same way? Are your friends the same way? Like, you may need a new set of friends, or you need to maybe separate your business from the friendship. I see that a lot where agents will be at a company and they're like, yeah, I'm crushing it. I'm doing 10 deals, and all their friends are doing 10 deals and they think they're crushing it. And I'm not knocking 10 deals. I'm just using the number, but they've circled themselves with 10 deal people. Like, you've got to circle yourself with 30 deal people if you want to get to 30 deals, not 10 deal. And we are, I don't know, we're friends of our own misery, whatever the company is misery or whatever the hell this terminology is. But I think that's it too. Look around. Don't let those people hold you back.
Yeah. Last one, and there's probably a bigger list. The last one on our list is lack of self-care. And I know we can talk about this all day long. Self-care is huge, right? Am I drinking enough water? Am I actually getting enough sleep? When I need to take a break, am I scrolling my phone or going for a 5-minute walk? Like, am I doing things to take care of me? If I saw myself, we thought it was like as a professional athlete, I would be watching. What do I eat? What am I drinking? What are my cadences, right? All those kinds of things. Are you doing things to bring yourself joy? Self-care is a big deal. And I would challenge everybody to write down a self-care prescription. What would your best friend tell you to do daily, weekly to take care of you in a really good way? And that was kind of like Ginger shared that months ago. Like, hey, 1 day off a week, a 3-day weekend, right? Once a month, and then a
week,
vacation or something like that, once a quarter.
Yeah.
Figure out what your cadence is. So what's worked for you to help in the self-care area?
So I believe everybody needs a team around them. And I know people will be like, well, I can't afford what I'm about to say, but I think you can. And there's just different levels of it. But y'all, I get a massage probably once every other week. I have a prescription. I have a subscription to that. I have a trainer, right? I have a therapist. I have a couples therapist. I'm getting ready to go to the chiropractor. Like, I get my hair cut. Like, I do things like that I have to do and makes an appointment because I do think, I mean, not physically, but I think I'm a business endurance athlete. Like, I am literally working all the time, whether we are or we aren't. We're thinking about it. We're getting phone calls at 9 o'clock at night, and we're an endurance athlete. And you got to take care of yourself. You got to eat right. You got to do the things right. You've got to do that. And so the self-care can go, I think Brandon Green, who we both really like and respect, he does a monthly spa day. He told us at one of our events, and like, he just goes and gets it all done. His agents know, or his staff knows. And I think people don't want to spend the money on it, but I think that is the best ROI of feeling good is working good. Feeling good is thinking good. Feeling good makes your home life good. Like, again, I'm not the epitome of health here, but I do take some time to like make sure my stuff gets worked out.
Yeah, it's hard to do great when you don't feel great, right? So help yourself feel great so that you can do great. It was like we asked somebody on a E5 call a couple of days ago, what, like, the pressure's built up. What do you do to release some of the pressure, right? And then go for a walk, get a massage. Like we do, the pressure builds up. And if you don't do some intentional things to unwind, it's like one of my clients says, I'm having a hard time sleeping. I was like, cool, we'll walk me through your day. Basically, they go 200 miles an hour, and then they think that when their head hits the pillow, they should be able to sleep. And I'm like, that's insanity. You got to unwind a little bit to get right. Same thing in life. Like, what are you doing to let some of the pressure off? Because you don't let the pressure off in intentional ways, it'll come off in ways that'll leave some damage. That lid of that pot will blow off, and you will fire somebody or yell at somebody or say something stupid, or something bad's gonna happen if you don't do it intentionally. We've seen it happen 100 times.
Yep. We all laugh when we see those people have like a meltdown moment. Not laugh, but we're like, that guy went crazy. Bro, you're not far behind them. You're not far behind.
What I love, so if you have some self-care things, like, drop them in the comments. Like, let us know, like, what are some of the things you've done that have helped the most, so everybody else can copy and paste and do some themselves. Yeah, what's the best things you can do to take care of you? There's no reason for us to burn out at all.
Yeah, no. And I think the last thing I'll leave it with is almost like the Dave Ramsey approach, but our ROI. Like, write down the 10 things you're doing, and like be real with yourself. And like, social media, I'm crushing 10% of it. Okay, cool. Right. But this over here, my open house game, I'm just kidding, not open houses. My event game is at 70, right? Dude, forget social media for a minute. Get your event game to 100, and then use that energy once you've got the system and start rolling down to the lowest one. If you do that, then you'll feel like you're winning. Because if you got 10 going, you're not winning at anything, and you're going to feel that. But if you start winning at some, that momentum will carry you through it so much better. And as you do it, you will also find that you can replace yourself with somebody, possibly in person, a virtual assistant, AI, who knows? But once you do that, your life, that is how people go. They just replace themselves on the way up.
Absolutely. Go get you some, go get Untucked. Go get Untucked. You know what we're saying.
Untuck a little bit.
Untuck a little bit.
You're really untucked.
I'm really untucked.
Hey, real quick, if you're liking this content, imagine having a full day immersed with people that are on this, like us, that are learning from each other.
Man, we do these kind of events, these intensive, a couple times a year, and if you know that you are the smartest person in the room and you need to get in some other rooms, this is the place to be, right? So apply, send us a message right now, we'll send you the application link, and see if you are the right fit to be in one of the rooms.